How's it going, fellas, and welcome to the channel where I kick back, relax and talk video games. And today it's the start of a brand new series. I'm going to be talking about how I would do 2K. This isn't going to be a one video wonder. This is going to be several videos, guys. I'm going to go into a lot of detail about this and how I would make 2K20, because everybody does their wish list too late, so I'm going to be doing it early. I'm going to be starting it right now. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to be talking about everything I would do to the Archetype system, how to make the Archetype system better for 2K20. Let's get into it. I just want to start off by saying my opinion first, and the thing that I want to talk about, if you're new to the channel, is I'm not a fan of the Archetype system. I believe we should go back to the way it was. Even though there was an Archetype system back in the day, it wasn't so restrictive. The problem is, the Archetype system is just way too restrictive in this new 2Ks. The way they've done it is just ridiculous, trying to force people down a road that they're never going to complete, and then if they want to change their path to a different Archetype system, they've got to fork out not 85 bucks, to get to an 85 overall, so many bucks, 50, 60, 70 bucks just to be an 85 overall, or you have to grind and grind and grind. That's the problem with the system. The Archetype system itself isn't broken, it's just how 2K implement it. So the first thing I want to talk about is pure archetypes versus dual archetypes. And pure archetypes are a hell of a lot easier to balance because there's less outcomes. If you're a pure sharpshooter or a pure shot creator, there's only so many things that you can do on the court. But when you start mixing it with a playmaking shot creator or a playmaking sharpshooter, they become too overpowered and unbalanced because they're doing too many things that pure archetypes don't do. So pure archetypes are at a huge disadvantage. It's just ridiculous. Like, yeah, you can be a pure sharpshooter. Say you're a pure sharpshooter. You have no defense. I've talked about this hundreds of times before. It's like if you're a pure lockdown. Most pure lockdowns can't shoot. They can't score. But now with badges, and I'll talk about badges a bit later, but everybody can do everything now, and it's just made this game unbalanced. So keeping them to a pure archetype system would balance this game a hell of a lot, but the problem with that is it would become very, very boring. If you have to be the pure sharpshooter or the pure shot creator or whatever, over and over and over again, it's gonna get repetitive quickly, and I'm gonna talk about my answer for that a little bit later. But the problem with the dual archetype system is stats don't really mean anything with this dual archetype system, because you can have a 70 overall three-pointer or a 70 overall ball handling and then throw on, say, a couple of badges where you've got gold or silver badges, and it's like you're a 90 overall in that attribute. It's just ridiculous. The stats mean absolutely nothing in this game, especially when it comes to shooting. When you've got pure glass cleaners and pure post scorers and lockdown defenders knocking down 3 after 3. It just doesn't make sense to me. Stats really don't mean anything in this game anymore because this dual archetype system is just too overpowered for the second archetype, in my opinion. It just gets ridiculous, and you're seeing just this mess of a game, this mess of a product that we've got in front of us with 2K18 and 2K19, where this game is just failing because the balance of the archetype system just isn't working, and they're forcing players to be one archetype for the whole year, and it's just boring, dull, and repetitive. So the next thing I want to talk about is badges have destroyed this game. The game was balanced until everybody got badges. Look, everybody was an 85, 90 overall, but once everybody started getting Hall of Fame badges and silver badges and gold badges for the secondary archetypes and everything like that, it just changed the game completely. When this game first started, the only overpowered thing was the shot creator and a little bit of the stretch 4. Now, every archetype seems to be overpowered in a certain way. Like, you look at post scorers. If you don't have a big man on him, you've got no chance of defending him. You've got pure stretchers just shooting from anywhere. It just doesn't make sense to me. As I said at the start of the game, the only thing that was overpowered were the shot creators with their leaning mid-rangers, and I don't even reckon that was that overpowered. That was their ability, and they done that to success. It just doesn't make sense to me, and defense has to be changed. I don't believe defense should be an archetype. That's my honest truth. I reckon all defense should be set to each different player. Look, if you're a point guard, you get certain defensive attributes. If you're a shooting guard, small forward, so forth, you get different stats. So if you're a center, say, you get better defensive stats than what a point guard would be, and so forth. I don't believe that you should have a defensive archetype, in my opinion. But I digress from badges, and badges have really hurt the game. They really have, because everybody now can do everything. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, they try and have a balanced archetype system, but if everybody can do everything, the system is broken. There's no point having the system if the system isn't balanced. I preach so much about it, and it's just so true. It's just like esports. If the thing isn't balanced, there's just no point, because the littlest exploit will be detrimental to the system and will kill the game, like what you're seeing in front of you. It's not rocket science why this game has failed. It's really not. It's just their poor game design and their poor systems that they make just to design us to keep us on the game. That's all it is. They just want you to play hour after hour so they can show the investor that the players are playing 1 million hours this week or whatever. You know, it's just ridiculous how they just treat us as players, and people just take it. So here's my answer for the badges. Either we need less badges, or we can only use a set amount. Look, we should go at the start of the game, or maybe before we go into the neighborhood, we set these badges. We want a limitless range. If you're a shooter, you get all the Hall of Fame limitless, but you only get 4. You don't get all the other ones. Maybe you only get 3 or 4 badges. Or just minimize it completely, that maybe we only get 5 badges total, and then when you get to a 93 you get one, and maybe a 97 overall you get another one. So the good players will have 7 badges, or the people that are 97 overalls will get 7 badges, and maybe the people at lower get 5 badges. You know what I mean? It's just getting way too ridiculous, the amount of badges that these players have. They're trying to create a false archetype system, and the badges just kill it. They really do. They really need to just break down that badge system and only restrict badges to certain archetypes. They really need to do that, because that's where they're going wrong with this system. Big time is the badge system. It's, as I said at the start, it's really destroyed the game from the start, because the game was balanced. The game was fun when it first came out. But then all the tryhards learned what the best archetypes were, learned what badges worked really well, and got all their little tryhardy things and put it all in, and now we've got a very bad product in front of us. And that's the honest truth. It was good at the start, and now it's just turned to utter crap. So the last thing I want to talk about is must-have things for this system to work. We must have the ability to change archetypes. We shouldn't be stuck into an archetype system. I believe we get rid of the whole overall system. Look, I believe we should be the same overall. Everybody should be the same player with set badges and everything like that, and keep it completely fair. The problem is, people won't stay on the grind to 99 and keep grinding, and they can't get their numbers, and players won't buy at 85 overall, so they don't get their revenue there. But that's where the game needs to go. Nobody wants to grind my career for badges and all that sort of stuff. Separate the my career. Give us a set overall, say 90 overall, 93, 94 overall, I don't know. But don't make it too low where the game's boring. Give us a chance to succeed. Maybe everybody's a 95 overall and we just have at it. Everyone's on an even playing field. That's the best thing about Battle Royale. It's not that Battle Royale's the greatest thing to ever step foot on gaming. It's the fact that in this day and age, everybody's sick of pay-to-win gaming. In Battle Royale, everybody starts every single game at an even playing field. That's where gaming's missing, and if they bring everybody to the same overall with set badges, it'll give us that feeling, and it will be great for the game, because a lot of players just jump into the game and they're at a huge disadvantage before they even set on the court, and it's just simply not fair. And if they just give us a set overall, it would just change the whole thing completely. Another thing I'd add personally is picking your players and badges before each game. If you ever heard of Call of Duty Black Ops 3, they had the specialist draft in the esports. Something along those lines, where the away team and the home team, you flip a coin at the start. away team goes first and picks their players and their archetypes. And if you see, oh, this guy's got a pure stretch or a pure something or other that you need a certain archetype to counter that, you can put it in. You can set your height for your player, wingspan, all that sort of stuff, and you can actually counter their archetype. Because sometimes you play archetypes and you look, oh, I've got no chance because my archetype isn't the counter for that archetype. So you're just useless. So why not make a little bit of meta in the game, saying, look, if this guy's a shot creator, I might pick a playmaker to stay right on him because he's got extra speed. If he's a pure stretch, I might pick a big lockdown. You know what I mean? Certain things like that. It'll create a meta in the game. That's where the game's falling very, very short, because you pick your archetype, that's done, you're done for the year. You know what I mean? There's no fun and excitement. There's nothing. It's dull, boring, and repetitive. You don't get variations in your games. You have to do the same thing over and over again because you're restricted in archetypes. If you have the ability to change or at least add some height to your player, maybe you can make your archetype even better. Sometimes you might say, oh, look, this guy's 6'4", so I don't need to create a 6'8" lockdown. I can create a 6'4" lockdown or something like that, or a 6'4" sharp because he's a 6'4" lockdown, and I'll still be able to shoot over him and things like that. You know what I mean? It's just stupid to me that they just make this archetype system so restrictive, and then they wonder why people fall off after the first week or two. It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, guys, I've talked and raved long enough. If you do like this series, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below what you would do to the archetype system. Would you change it? Would you overhaul it completely? Or would you leave it the exact same? Leave it all in the comments below. But anyway, guys, I've talked and raved long enough. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.